Hello and welcome. My name is Matthew from kiwichess.blogspot.com, and today I thought I would bring to you game number 11 from the World Chess Championship match in Bonn, Germany between Vladimir Kramnik and Viswanathan Anand. The current score in the match after 10 games has Anand leading by 2 points, where Kramnik must win the next 2 games to force a tiebreak, a rapid tiebreak. So we'll start the game. 1e4. A slight surprise, as Anand has been using 1d4 throughout the match, but in general he is a e4 player. c5. Kramnik goes for the Sicilian in a must-win situation. Of course, it is much more preferable than the slightly safe Petrov. So c5, knight f3, d6, d4. Anand had the option of playing bishop b5 check here and blatantly just going for a draw. But of course he stays true to his style and plays the open Sicilian. And here is the knight off move order. And Anand plays bishop g5. From 2004, Anand played bishop e3 against Kramnik in the Dortmund Rapid Playoff, where he won a nice game to take his first Dortmund trophy. Game continued e5, knight b3. But in the current game, Anand chooses bishop g5. e6, f4, it's all mainline theory. Queen c7, slightly unusual. The main moves in this position are queen b6 going into the poison pawn line, which can lead to unclear complications, or bishop e7 is another move. Even knight bd7 is another way to play. But Kramnik chooses queen c7. Now white can play here queen f3, and after b5 castles b4, we reach another position where white sacrifices a piece for unclear complications. And with Anand only needing a draw, it was probably unwise for him to choose this. So he chose the more positional bishop takes f6 and f5. In a game between Topalov versus Anand with the black pieces, Topalov played here queen d2. And after a few more moves, bishop c4 being a relatively new idea at the time, putting the bishop back on b3, targeting the e6 square, Anand went on to lose with h4 being a suspect move. Anand went on to lose in 42 moves, and this is from the game Topalov Anand Dortmund 1997. Just give a few more moves with plenty of pressure on the e6 point. Now if we go back to the game, Anand chooses 9f5. Now here Kramnik plays queen c5, which he said in the press conference after the game that he came up with this over the board, but this is still following known theory, and it would be interesting to note whether Anand was out of his theory. Probably not. But Kramnik really plays the Sicilian, let alone the Sicilian knight off. Queen c5, queen d3, knight c6, 11, knight b3, not wanting to trade pieces. Kramnik centralizes the queen, and here Anand castles. But in the game Kavalik-Chandler, Kavalik chose to take on e6, and after a few moves, we reach this position here where Chandler chose king h8 and found himself in trouble after bishop g4, and ended up losing the game in 40 moves. But perhaps f5 here may be a stronger idea. Anyway, back to Anand Kramnik. Anand chose castles long, and e takes f5. Kramnik just trying to stir things up. Positionally, it is not such a great move, but he didn't like the idea of bishop d7, and where his position is rather not to his liking. He takes f5 just to try and stir up trouble. Now white may have been tempted to take on f5 and then play queen f3, because castling long runs into bishop takes a6. So black would be forced into sacrificing the queen after bishop b5. Black is best advised just to grab the material, queen g3, and now just black is best just to sacrifice the queen, and then after knight b4, here king b1 runs into bishop f5, so after queen f2, black has the clearly better of it. A rook in the bishop pair and 2 pawns for a queen and knight. Black is clearly better. So back to the game. Anand chooses a superior, queen e3. And here Kramnik comes up with the move bishop g7, hoping to unleash this bishop with getting rid of his 2 f-pawns in any manner possible. But of course, perhaps bishop e6 was a stronger move. In either case, white has a good grip on the position. After bishop g7, rook d5, queen g3, queen e7, queen g3, rook g8, black is starting to lose control of the position. Queen f4, f takes e4, knight takes e4, f5, opening up his bishop. But after knight takes d6, check, king f8, knight takes c8, black's position is nowhere near as good as Kramnik would have liked. King b1, and indeed at the press conference after the game, Anand said after 20 king b1 he felt confident that his position was, he could hold this draw easily, and if not, push for an advantage if needed. Queen e1 check, knight c1, knight e7. Now Anand plays the critical move queen d2, where Kramnik must trade queens because queen e4 runs into a mate. So after queen trade, black's position is really not losing but inferior, and black has no way to push for advantage. So in this position, Kramnik offered a draw and basically resigned the match. Player might continue rook f3, f4, knight d3, and there's really only white who can play for an advantage. So in a surprising match victory, Anand wins 6.5 to 4.5 over Kramnik. Any questions, criticisms or comments, please send to a comment on my blog page. Goodbye.